Okay, apart from that, like, do you think grammar is really important? You also highlighted saying that grammar is not that important. You said it's important, but the thing is, like, it's not really, into English learning. But how far is grammar important?
Because a lot of people say that I know all the tenses, I know all the grammar, but when I speak, I forget everything.
Yeah, hi, Amandeep.
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, what's your name?
My name is Priya and
You're from?
Chennai.
Chennai, okay. So what do you do?
I'm an IELTS trainer. I teach English to adults.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what brings you Clapingo?
Yes, actually, the thing is, like, I'm a YouTuber. I even just share conversations on YouTube, and also I help, what are the I make short videos especially so that it'll be for them, and also long kind of videos like conversation and other videos that can help, especially, people to learn English if they're interested in my channel.
Okay, got it.
Mandeep, I'm saying one hi so that, like, to be a little interactive so that at least when I think you are okay with the media thing, right? Because that is when, yeah, that's when it's shown on the, Clapingo video saying that you're okay with the YouTube thing.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
So yes, I think, did you check the topic for today?
Actually, I think let's give the topic for today because I think I just want this session to be a little informative and
if there's anything else that you want to talk about, we can talk about that.
Yes, of course. I have a topic for today as you're also, a speaker who teaches English and even I'm in the same path, like we are on the same. So what I'm thinking is, what are your ways to English, or do you have any ideas, on how to improve English speaking skills?
Okay. So I think basic suggestion that we usually give everyone is about reading and listening English, which is the most important part. I think that is one of the most natural ways to learn a language. So I think that's the suggestion. So what usually people ask us, so that's what I tell them, that you have to build a habit of learning. A lot of times what people do is they'll just read newspaper for 10 minutes and they'll be like, yeah, I read, but that's not really going to help you in the long run. So I think a suggestion is that you have to find a fun and entertaining way to do this rather than just picking a random book that someone suggested. You need to experiment and see what are some topics you actually feel interested in. You have to ensure that it's fun for you. That is, I think that's something I suggest, because then it wouldn't feel like a chore or a task. It would be something that you'd be looking forward to. So that's something I think I suggest people. Other than that, I think it depends on depends on like when you talk to people, you get to know their areas of improvement, what things they are struggling with, and then accordingly you suggest them. So for English, yes, reading, listening, and then when it comes to grammar, I think even if you get way too much into grammar, that doesn't really help much. But yes, tenses are definitely very, very important. So yes, I think one should definitely consider tenses. They should be good with that. They should understand the basic concept of tenses. I think that is. I think if you're good with that, you can at least speak basic English. You can form basic sentences. Then you have vocabulary, which is again equally important.
Sorry to interrupt you in between, but as you said, like fun and interactive way, like, yes, everyone do say that, it should not be a task or something you're learning, but it should be as a, fun, and you have to make it a bit, that it should create a lot of vibe in you, saying that you have to learn. That means you have to be zealous of learning, not jealous, it's zealous of learning. So that's okay, fine. But how can one make, their learning process a little fun and interactive? How they can make it? I want to know that.
I think it's just same, just like I said, I think reading is very, very important when it comes to English, right? So then if you want to read rather than just randomly picking a popular book, there are, when it comes to reading, there is fiction, there is non-fiction. So you have to find out what works for you. If you think a lot of people don't know about it, they just randomly pick a non-fiction book and then they get bored. So you don't have to, like, people think that, when I'm reading, I have to always gain knowledge and learn a lot of stuff, how to win friends, how to be rich and all of that. I don't think that's important. It should be fun. So you can just go for fiction. You can now in fiction there are so many genres, like there is romance, there is thriller, there is history, right? There is fantasy. So you see what topics you like if from that, right? And then you pick, for example, I like reading historical fiction, I like fantasy, I like contemporary fiction. So these are the books I read and I really enjoy. It's like I look forward to it and it's really fun for me. So in
Yeah,
a way, of course, I'm learning. Yeah.
if learners are not interested in reading, so if you take me, I am really not into reading. It doesn't make a funny thing to do, like, or it's not really my cup of tea, I can say. So how you can just suggest them, like, apart from reading?
So then you, as I said, then the another option you have is you listen to as much as English as possible. If you're not into reading, you listen to it. Then when it comes to listening, you can listen to audio stories. You have Audible, right? You listen to audio stories. You listen to podcasts. There are many informative and fun podcasts available. So you can listen to that. So that is an option if you don't want to read. So you can watch movies and shows. There are so many options available. But I think a lot of times the reason people say they're not into reading because they haven't found the right thing to read. I think it's a habit that you have to build. It's difficult initially, but according to me, I think it's one of the most important thing to do, because when you read, you also understand the spelling, the structure, and everything. So I think a
But
lot of
when
times,
I
yeah.
don't know, okay, one point I just want to highlight over here is, like, when we are reading, we may not know the pronunciation, right? How the word is enunciated. Okay, let's imagine we are reading the book, but by reading the book, can we, you can understand the spelling, as you said, the structure, how it is framed in a sentence. That's okay, fine. But how you can, use it for speaking, we need to pronounce the word, right? We need to enunciate. So for enunciation, reading don't help. So that time listening is the only thing that can help, to learn pronunciation as well.
See, what you can do basically is, I think basic words, if you're a beginner, you know the basic, like is, am, are, these words how to pronounce. But only when we come across difficult words, that's when we don't know the pronunciation. So what you can do is, I think you can look up, right? You can just, if you ever come across a difficult word you don't know, just go on Google and listen to just listen the pronunciation. That's a very simple thing. That's how
Yes.
you build your vocabulary. That's how you build your you work on your pronunciation.
Audible is a good idea. Why? Because Audible, it makes you listen, people.
It's
So
a
in
good
that,
idea. And a lot of people, what they do also is, they, for example, if I have a book, they listen to the same book on Audible simultaneously. So that is something you can do. You can read and you can listen simultaneously the same book. So that
that's
would
where,
help you. Yeah, both ways.
so that's really
So
good idea. I think people can use this especially so that they can read the book and also they can hear on Audible, so that simultaneously they're going to improve both. They can
yeah.
see this and also they can listen to the pronunciation and all. So in that way, it's going to help both. So, okay, apart from that, like, do you think grammar is really important? You also highlighted saying that grammar is not that important. You said it's important, but the thing is, like, it's not really, into English learning. But how far is grammar important?
As I said, I think tenses is something that you need to be good with that concept. Tenses, I think that's where because it's really vast. If you just say tenses, people are like, okay, it's only simple feature, but there's so much into it, right? So if you get into that, if you practice, it's gonna take you a long time to get good with tenses itself, I guess. So yes, that is something. According to me, I don't remember reading, getting into too much into grammar while I was learning English also. But yes, tenses was something that I focused on. So I think yes, if you're good with tenses, you're helping verbs and and then you can come to the vocabulary part. So I think that is enough according to me. because there
Right.
are so many things when it comes to it. So you have to get into depth. You have to understand how the formation works and everything.
Yes, that's true. And coming to vocabulary, like, what do you think about vocab? Is it really important? I think even though we learn a lot of vocabulary and we think that, we speak good, we still learn, every day. I think we still, watch videos. Maybe I don't know about others, but I watch videos and I improve. And I really, read books. Sometimes if it doesn't interest me, I watch videos. So in what way you are improving? So is there anything that you're doing, to just improve, or you you find that, yeah, this is the end and it's over? Do you think in
I
English?
don't think they can be, you can ever reach a point where at the end there's so much to learn when it comes to a language. Every day you see some new word coming up. But I think when you're able to express yourself, without taking a lot of pauses, when you're able to have your day-to-day conversation, that's when I think you can be sure, okay, this is enough. But whenever you reach a point where you're like, okay, I don't know what the right word is going to be to describe this, that's when I think you know that there's still some work that needs to be done. So vocabulary, yeah, I think so again, if you are just on a day-to-day basis, if you're reading articles online, there are so many things you can learn through that. Or I think if you want to particularly focus on it, there are many vocabulary apps on Play Store also. So you can download an application and you can follow that.
Use
So
any
some
improving English or any sort of that? Do you use any applications in your mobile? Anything that's able to learn English or any sort of that?
I have not used, but I know some of the apps. There is an application called Oxford Vocabulary. It's for vocabulary building. So
Okay.
this is an app that can be used if you want to work on the vocabulary. The thing is, if I
Apart
tell
from
you about myself,
words, if you do you know anything about pronunciation, like any applications related to pronunciation?
I think the app that I told you right now, they have a mic option for every word. So they have these like 3,000 words, 2 to 3,000 important words that are, that one should know. And then they have a mic option next to every word. So once you learn a word, you can listen to the pronunciation also.
You can tap
So
that.
I think vocabulary and pronunciation can go together. Whenever I think you learn a new word, you should definitely listen to the pronunciation. So you should be doing both the things at one time rather than just separately focusing on one thing at a time.
Yeah, that's true. And like, how far did it take to to become like this? I mean, how far did it took, for you to become like this, to be a speaker, to English? So from childhood, I think you have been learning it, right? But when did you feel that I'm more confident and I can go ahead and I can speak confidently without any flaws? So something like that.
I think I started reading. I was really, as I told you, I was really into reading. So I started reading. I did not depend on my school books or anything as such. I used to read a lot of newspapers when I was in school. Then then I moved on to the books, and then I reached a point like when I started working. That was a time when I felt that I know English, but I am not that good. I don't have that much practice
You're
of
a
speaking.
software engineer? Are you a software
Sorry.
engineer? Are you a software engineer?
I'm into training. I'm into soft skills and English training.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. So that's when I think I realized that I'm not, because I don't have much practice. So I started speaking.
Are you
Sorry?
working full time? Are you working full time?
No, no. I work on a freelance basis. I'm a
Okay.
freelance trainer. Yeah. So yes, I think when I started speaking in English on a day-to-day basis, that's when I felt that yeah, I'm good at it, because that's the most important part. You might be aware about all the concepts and everything, but if you don't speak in it, you will never get that confidence. I guess that's what we have Clapingo for.
So, okay. So apart from that, what else, do you think any other ideas apart from applications, apart from, making or talking with a partner or maybe talking with a clapping or speaker? So what else you can suggest, as you are also soft skills, maybe you can help us, maybe other people, like how they can improve on a daily basis, because I think every day it should be consistent. Every day there must be some kind of practice. They must practice English every day. If they're not consistent on it, again they're going to lose the track. And they might find another thing which interests them, and they might forget it. So in what way you can develop that kind of interest in this language to pursue that level? So how you can suggest that? And what is,
you have to build a schedule, you have to build a daily practice wherein you ensure, as I said, that you are at least reading, you're listening, then you're working a bit on the grammar, then you're doing a bit of vocabulary. Other than that, you should try to speak in English as much as possible whenever, with whoever is there. Like if there's anyone you can speak, you should try to speak. When you're alone also, a lot of people, they know all the concepts, but they when they speak, they are unable to implement it. So that's what they can do is, whenever they are free, they can try to speak on different topics. They can record themselves, they can listen to themselves, and then they can correct their mistakes, and then they do it again. So self practice is something that can definitely be done. If they come across and
that means when they're speaking, they need to record themselves. So
record yourself. Because a lot of people say that I know all the tenses, I know all the grammar, but when I speak, I forget everything. So then if you already know, it's a plus, right? So when when you record and listen to yourself, you can correct your mistakes, then you can repeat again, and then that is something that you can do.
Okay? Right. Great. Really nice talking. A great time. And
okay,